Well, hello, hello, hello. Here it is, the video that many people have requested. So this is the video about 6 chicken thighs and 6 meals for my little family of 3 people. So, yes, we can do this. We're talking frugal, we're talking cheap, we're talking not cheap in quality, but cheap in price. And so what I think I'm going to do is let you see what I did, and then I'll bring you back at the end and tell you how I did it. So the first thing you start with is a pot of boiling water. Very simple. Then you take your chicken out and you're just going to place it in your pot of water and add whatever seasonings you want. In this case, I had some leftover onion powder and some poultry seasoning I wanted to use up, some parsley, some garlic, and then in my freezer I always keep a little bag of chopped onion and green and red peppers that I chop up, almost puree them in the blender, and then I freeze them, so I put that in there as well. So you just add whatever you want, and one thing I did forget to add was a little salt, but I can always add that later. So you want to bring it to a good rapid boil and let it boil for a good 15 to 20 minutes, as long as it is not spilling out all over the place. And then I turn it down and I just let it simmer on medium to low for about 2 hours. And the first picture was when it was just coming to a boil. Now you can see this as I'm ladling it, that this is the broth that it's creating, as well as cooking the chicken after about an hour. And you can see it looks pretty well done there, but I kept it going for a little bit longer. I did keep it on for about 2 hours, and look at this broth. This broth is rich and delicious looking, and oh so healthy, because you've cooked the chicken right in the water along with the bones. How delicious is this? The chicken is literally just falling apart. You can see that skin is glistening. Look at that. As you put it in the bowl, it just falls off the bone. This is the best way to make homemade chicken broth. It tastes better, it smells better, it looks better, and it really is a healthy way to do it, because it just gets all the juices from the chicken and also from the bones. So what you would do next, after you've put the chicken into your bowl and you let it sit to become room temperature, you literally will just take the chicken, peel the skin off, and just take chunks of the chicken off the bone. And I smush it between my fingers to make sure I can feel any bones that might be in there. Of course, you'll want to take that out so no one chokes on it. But as you dissect the chicken off the bones, the amount of meat that you get is probably double than if you were to just serve the chicken thigh on a plate right from cooking it or baking it. And most times you'll find that you yourself and the others around you don't really eat the amount of chicken that's on a chicken thigh or any type of chicken on a bone. You usually end up leaving bits and pieces on there. But doing it this way, you can salvage every piece of chicken and really be frugal and economical and get a whole lot of chicken. So here we're dumping the chicken out onto a plate that we peeled off of the bones, and you can see how much chicken we got from just 6 chicken thighs. You can't even really appreciate the amount of chicken. Next thing we want to do is pour water into our crock pot and add all the leftover bones and bits and skin to create the best bone broth that you can get. And we don't want to waste anything. And you can see that just from cooking the chicken initially, I was able to do 3 large containers and 1 small container of just regular chicken broth. And oh yes, don't forget to add lemon juice to your bone broth, because that will help pull out the nutrients from all the bones. And you can enjoy here some just plain chicken broth, and then you can also make your own bone broth. Okay, so we're back. So you got to see what I did. The process is very simple. You get a cheap package of chicken. That's all you need to do. So I got my little office here. You can see. I want to show you a couple things. I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I'm on a budget. My hours have been cut. I'm losing about a week's pay a month right now, and to some of you maybe that's not a big deal, but to me that's a big deal. So I don't have a lot of extra money. That extra week was like what got us through everything. Don't have that. I haven't had it for 4 months, going on 5 months now. So I have to be really tight, really frugal, and very creative, because I get bored with food. I always say to my husband, I don't feel like eating because I'm bored with what I've been making. So coming up with creative, simple, I work full time, come home, I don't feel like creating. I don't feel like doing a lot of fuss and bother. I've tried freezer meals. They don't really work for me. I'll do them occasionally. I have a few things that, leftovers. If I had some, I'd put them in the freezer. Soup is one thing I always keep in the freezer, but I'm not big on the freezer meals. We don't have a gigantic family. We're not, so if you're with me and you're either single or you just have a couple in the family, 2 to 3, maybe 4 or 5, this is probably more your style. You have a mega family, you're going to take that package of 6 and multiply it times however many you need. But here's the scoop. So I went and I got some chicken, and I did a Lidl's Haul for you. You can go back and check that out. At the end of the day, they marked chicken down. Now, they marked meat down, but this day was 30% off the chicken, and I actually got about 33% off, something like that. So you can check with your local store when they do markdowns. There's a local Stop and Shop, maybe 3 miles from my house. I don't know why, but Sunday night they mark all their pork down. I have a freezer full of pork chops, roast pork, to the point where I'm sick of pork. But that's what God provided, that's what I need to eat. So I got this chicken, okay? The full price, which I showed you on the Lidl's video, was $5.53 full price. With the sale price, it was $3.74. So get a piece of paper, take some notes here, because this to me was exciting. I want you to be excited with me. So if we took the $3.74, okay, that's 6 chicken thighs, $3.74, and they were big thighs, they were good. Divide that by 6 meals, okay? And I'll explain why and how I do what and where. Okay, so you divide it by 6 meals. That's 62 cents per meal. Now, I have 3 in my family, so if you had 4 or 5, you could still get away with this. I'm telling you. I would say, if my other 2 kids came home, that would be 5 of us. If my parents were here, that would be 7. So I don't know that I'd push it to 7, but I definitely could do a meal for 5 with these chicken thighs. So it's 62 cents per meal divided by 3 people, the 3 that are in my home right now. That comes out to 20 cents per person for the protein of the meal. Okay? So let's look at a couple of ideas, and then I'll tell you ideas of what you could add to it, and then I'll tell you some of my meals. So a loaf of bread is 87 cents at Lidl's. You get a loaf of bread. Let me grab it so I can show you the size. Hold on. Okay, so we've eaten a few pieces out of here, but it says right on there, 22 slices. So you divide 87 cents times 22, you're coming out with a cheap couple of slices of bread. So you can use bread as a sandwich, you can use it as an open-faced sandwich. Cheap, 87 cents. A can of peas to add, 50 cents. A can of corn, 40 cents, 45 cents. Celery, 89 cents. That's what it was this week. That was at Aldi's. Now you know for a meal, you're only going to use maybe one stalk or less for the 3. So that 89 cents is not even, you're talking like, you know, maybe 8 cents to add that in there. Is it fresh produce? Some of it is, some of it isn't. It depends on how frugal you need to be. You know, some people watching my video, I know they don't have money. So if you don't have money, you can't always get organic and fresh produce. If you have to do a can of peas and for 50 cents, now a can of peas for us and corn, we'd only go through half of each can. So now I'm talking 25 cents for the can of peas and 22 cents for the corn. So I mean, you could really get this down to like, you know, $1.50 for the 3 of us for a meal. You can't even go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal for that. So pulling this all together, 6 chicken thighs. We cook them up and boil them up. When you eat, if somebody were to give you a thigh or a chicken breast or something like that, I know myself, I do not eat all the meat off the bone. Sometimes it's kind of like hard to get to and it's annoying or whatever. You end up leaving some good meat on that bone. That's a waste. So if you boil up your chicken thighs like you saw in the video, once they cool down, because you can't do it while they're hot because then the meat is just basically, it'll disintegrate in your hands practically. Let it get cool, like not cold, but cool, room temperature. And then you peel it off the bone. By the time you get done, you saw how much chicken I had on that plate. That was a lot of chicken. You divide that into 6 portions. Listen, we're not talking, we're going to sit down and have a chicken meal. We're talking, we're going to sit down and have some frugal meals that we would add things to it and beef it up a little bit. Okay, so here I said 6 meals. I got 12 ideas for you. How's that? 2 for the price of 1. So you can make chicken soup. To your soup, you're adding rice or noodles, beans, vegetables, whatever you want to add, whatever's left in the refrigerator. You got a little salsa, throw that in there. Whatever's left in your refrigerator on a Friday, dump that in the pot, add some water, add some broth, add some bouillon, add a little bit of the chicken. I will say that I was talking to my husband and I had a thought. If you watched my video I did the other night on Tuna Romanoff. If you use 1 can of chicken, you know, 1 can of tuna, there's not much tuna overall in 1 can. I can get lunch out of 1 can of tuna for the 3 of us, no problem. Have a sandwich. So if you were to do the same concept in your mind and save a can left over from your tuna, empty out your tuna and save that can, that's basically the portion of chicken you want to save per meal. Maybe have it overflowing a little bit. And with the stack of chicken I had, easily I can get that. So you could even go back and watch my video, I'll link it below, on Tuna Romanoff. It was delicious. We had it, it's sometimes you try a recipe and you're like, it was good. This one's a keeper. I think I'd like to try it with the chicken though, that I made, and that's now in the refrigerator. But the amount of what was in 1 tuna can is all the chicken I need to feed my family. We had dinner that night and we had enough left over for lunch. So whatever that cost me, if it was $2, it gave me 2 meals. Now you're talking $1 a meal, 30 cents a person for a full meal. That's good. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm so excited. I love doing all this stuff. So chicken soup is 1. Chicken enchiladas. I have a bacon ranch enchilada video. I'll link that below. But you could put refried beans down on the tortilla. You add the chicken with cream cheese and chives and some other things. You could throw vegetables in there. You could throw beans in there. Whatever. But the refried beans could count also as a protein. So if you want a little bit more hefty type of a meal, don't worry about the chicken that's expensive. Meat is expensive. Add some other things to it. Chicken and gravy. I grew up on that. Chicken in just a gravy sauce, and you toast up a piece of bread, or we didn't even have it on toast. We just had plain white bread with chicken and gravy, and my mom would throw some peas in there, or whatever vegetable, carrots, whatever you have, and you have that on a slice of bread. Open-faced chicken sandwich with gravy is great. Chicken pot pie. You don't need to have the whole pie crust. You can just do cream of chicken soup and add some vegetables, add your chicken, add your celery. If you have some dried celery and some dried things, throw that in there. Cook it up in the crock pot. You can throw that over noodles and do it more of an Amish style with noodles. You could put, I do it in the crock pot, and then I put, you know the biscuits, you crack them open, what do you call those? In the tin, you unwrap them and they poof. I don't know, Pillsbury, somebody makes them. But anyway, you take them and you take the biscuit and you break it up into little pieces and you put it on top. And then you just put the lid on the crock pot and they puff up, and there's your chicken pot pie. You can just make all that chicken sauce, put it in a baking dish, take Bisquick or a baking mix and do it like dumplings on the top. So easy. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I'd love to chat with you about it. Chicken chili. So you got your beans and you've got vegetables or whatever, you're adding a chicken. You don't need much chicken. Chicken salad sandwich is very simple. You could go with plain chicken and mayonnaise. You can add walnuts and grapes to it, make it a really nice, fun chicken salad. You could add strawberries, whatever you want to do. I've had it with raisins, and you can kind of doctor it up a little bit. Barbecue chicken. So you take the same chicken, add some barbecue sauce, throw it on a roll, you got a barbecue chicken sandwich. Put some coleslaw on the top of that. So good. I'm ready to have some cracked chicken. If you've never made cracked chicken, that's delicious. I don't like the name, but it is good. Chicken quesadillas, tortillas, some cheese, some chicken, some salsa. You can throw some corn, you can throw some refried beans, you can throw some other stuff to bulk it up, or just have it with a little bit of chicken, a little bit of cheese, maybe do a nice little salad on the side, you're good to go. Chicken fried rice. How cheap is that? Rice is cheap. Throw in a can of mixed vegetables, throw in that little bit of chicken, you got a meal right there. And that makes a ton. You can make your rice in your Instant Pot in 12 minutes, make a nice sticky rice, add all your goods to that, you're ready to go. Chicken shepherd's pie. So I make a more of an American version of shepherd's pie, but you can make chicken shepherd's pie. Just skip the beef and add the chicken. Chicken Alfredo. You've got the Alfredo sauce, the chicken, you're going to put it in pasta. Again, add a can of vegetables, add some fresh vegetables. If you've got zucchini or something from your garden you want to add that. That would be delicious. And then try the Romanoff that I made, the Tuna Romanoff, but replace it with the chicken. I can't tell you enough how excited I get when I can come up with a meal for 20 cents per person for the main thing, and then you add a few veggies. There are weeks I can't afford a whole lot. To have something that's $1 or $2 for a whole meal to feed my whole family, you can't go wrong with that. And you know, some of you are out there and you're looking for frugal meals, you're looking for ways to cut back. The other thing is too, like meat for a while was hard to find, and you were limited to 2 packages of chicken, and I heard people saying, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Well, here's an example. I got 6 thighs, I made 6 meals, so even if I had like leftovers for one, that would be 7 nights dinner on 1 package of chicken. You bought 2 packages of chicken, you've got 2 weeks worth of meals. How can you go wrong with that? I think that's a good thing. So give me a thumbs up if you think that was good. Just to remind you that the magazine I used was Keepers at Home. If anybody knows how to get a copy or a subscription, please let me know. I am looking to do that, and I don't know how to go about it. There's no information in here about a subscription, a phone number, or anything. But that recipe that I did was the tuna noodles Romanoff in here. And if you go back to my video, it was simple. It's probably stuff you have in your refrigerator. Just change that up and do chicken noodles Romanoff. That would be great. And then I have to tell you, remember this from my Pennsylvania video where I went to the thrift shops in Pennsylvania and I bought this for a friend, maybe? Well, I sat down last night. I don't know. Let me see if you can see this. You see all these pages that are folded over there? Oh, yeah. All these recipes, I'm like, oh, I gotta try this and oh, I gotta try that. So you and I, we're gonna be doing some cooking. This is fall baking. Let's start it early. Maybe in August we'll start doing some of these recipes. Let's compare notes, see what we think, compare some ideas. I just wanted to give you a heads up. We're gonna be doing some fall baking in August. I'm really excited. Yesterday was my day off from work. And I have to tell you, it's been about 20 years since I've done this. I woke up in my pajamas. I told my husband I'm not getting out of my pajamas. I did brush my teeth. I stayed in my pajamas all day and I went to bed in those pajamas. Yes, how disgusting is that? But I did it. I thoroughly enjoyed a day off just for me to feel relaxed. And I said to my husband, if anybody knocks on that door, I'm running. But stayed in my pajamas all day and I redid my pantry. So I have a pantry tour, I updated it, reorganized it. Can't wait to bring you along. I'm gonna have a video up and coming on that. I have a couple of DIYs coming up, and we're going to be doing a series. I had a number of people ask me, how do I get started on a pantry? What's the difference between a pantry, a stockpile, emergency foods? Do you do long-term storage, short-term storage? How do you make all this work? How do you do it on a budget? What do you really need? What don't you need? I'm going to break it down. I'm a real plain and simple girl. I don't like complicated. Ask my husband. I have to have things simple. And I'm a very visual person. So, give you the tour of the pantry. I'm going to talk to you how I set it up. And then we're going to do a series and break it down of what you need, how to use it. And I'll even have some printables for you that you can pull up and print, and some free printables there, so maybe that will help. What else is coming up? Let me think. I can't think right now, but I know some good stuff's coming up. Don't forget to check out my Tuesday night, every Tuesday night at 6:30. I have a video on a quick devotion called Fresh Brewed Devos with a Cup of Encouragement. It's 5 minutes or less, just a quick uplift for the week that you can just hang on, some truths for the entire week till the next Tuesday. So come in and join me on that on Tuesday nights at 6:30. Otherwise, I hope you had a great day. Thank you so much for coming by. Thanks for being my friend. Don't forget, 100 subscribers, I'm doing a gift giveaway. So share my videos, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so that you get any up and coming videos. And if you have suggestions on maybe something I do, I am not a professional. I am a plain and simple person that likes to share information. I want you to share with me. I think it's a good exchange, and I'm really excited to get to know you all. And so leave me a comment below on maybe something you'd like to see, that if you've seen in my house, or you've seen me do, or you've seen or heard me refer to, let me know, and I'd love to do a video on that for you. So stay tuned for the next video.